So, saving alone is not going to make you wealthy. Hear me out. You made your money. Now what? Welcome back to your virtual family office. My name is Teron. Here we focus on ways to master your money and build a legacy. In today's episode, we're going to focus on why I believe building a business trumps saving alone when it comes to becoming wealthy or acquiring wealth in general. Let's just get right into it. The save to your wealthy approach is a traditional and widely held belief in personal finance. It centers around the idea that consistently saving a portion of your income, often through methods like budgeting and frugality, is the key to accumulating wealth over time. While saving is an essential component of financial stability and wealth building, there are advantages and limitations to focusing only on saving as a way to accumulate wealth. Let's start with the advantages. Advantages being financial security. Having money set aside in a savings account, anywhere from 3 to 6 months of non-discretionary spending, is important when it comes to peace of mind and flexibility, as well as the discipline that comes with setting a budget and sticking to it, which is very important. Even when we move over to entrepreneurship, really honing in and having that financial stability is very important for peace of mind, as well as being able to attempt more risky opportunities. But the limitations are really where I focus when I argue that building a business trumps saving alone. The limited growth potential that you experience when you're solely focusing on saving, because it's really just a function of how much you can squirrel away based on whatever income you currently have, and not focusing on how do I increase the revenue that I have access to. Saving to become wealthy is time intensive. I mean, you think about it, you can only save the amount of money that you are currently making at whatever salary you're at. And so you have to wait meticulously to put money aside in order to really start benefiting from the saving component, missed investment opportunities. And so if you're solely focusing on just squirreling money away, and this is not saying for people who are saving and then putting money into like a retirement account that is receiving some type of rate of return, this is solely for people who are focused primarily on just saving and being extremely frugal as a way to get to a wealthy status. And you're going to have missed opportunities if you solely focus on just saving. Another one is the risk of erosion to your money, aka inflation. I talked about that in my video about the 4 economic variables that everyone should know. Inflation, or the overall price level of a basket of goods, tends to go up year over year. While the Federal Reserve does try to maintain 2 to 3%, that's just 2 to 3% that is eating away at the money that you're saving. And so if you're not investing this money, if you're not using this money to generate revenue in a business that's giving you a rate of return that's higher than the 2 to 3% that the Fed is focused on, then you're really basically allowing inflation to just eat away at your money. Another one is going to be income dependence. And so if you don't have another way to generate income, usually through entrepreneurship or investing, but primarily focusing on entrepreneurship, then if you were to lose your job, for example, that is the only income that you have, and so that income is gone, and so are the savings. And so that income dependency, when it comes to just focusing on trying to save to become wealthy, as opposed to trying to develop a business to become wealthy, really becomes an issue. So, saving in and of itself is not a problem at all. It's a very strong argument as to why you should save. It builds discipline. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you the capital necessary to invest in more risky endeavors, but solely focusing on that is not going to be enough if you want to truly become wealthy. And so my primary focus of what I'm here trying to preach to you is the power of entrepreneurship when it comes to being the vehicle to propel you toward becoming wealthy. Entrepreneurship is simply the idea of starting, growing, and maintaining a business. And with this, there are a lot of risks that are involved, and it can be difficult for a lot of people. But hear me out. When it comes to developing a business, this is going to be the way to become wealthy. The income, the tax benefits, the ability to scale up the business, and the fact that business can also be used for legacy growth. Because, here we focus on ways to master your money and build a legacy. And so having a business can satisfy all the above. Income generation is important because a lot of times when you look at how to become wealthy and you're going solely from the save approach, you're looking, I believe, at the wrong end of the equation. And the equation being the difference between what you make and what you spend. You can only do so much when it comes to expenses. You'll never get your expenses down to zero. And so you're focusing, in my opinion, on the wrong end of the equation. You should instead focus on how do I increase revenue? How do I increase the amount of money coming in? And how do I do it in a way that's scalable, a way that I can have time back, I can leverage in the future, and create a business that is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can have multiple products that are also working in tandem, each of which have a snowballing effect that allow you to increase your revenue. I mean, mathematically speaking, revenue is infinite. You can have an opportunity where you start with nothing, and there's really no cap on the amount of money that you can bring in. Again, doubling back to the tax benefits, if you look at how the tax code is set up and the different deductions that you can take, by starting a business, you can benefit from a lot of what the IRS has laid out, specifically in the way of deductions. I mean, for the most part, there are exceptions. The revenue that you generate is directly offset by the expenses that are required to generate that revenue. So right out the gate, you have the opportunity to benefit from taxation. I mean, you can also look into how the businesses are structured in terms of liability and protection for you. Corporations that you could set up that will separate both your personal from your business, that can then be scaled up when you're talking in terms of business credit and getting commercial loans from bank and taking down real estate. And it's just a myriad of options when it comes to what you can do once you step into the business and entrepreneur realm when it comes to acquiring wealth. And I did talk about your ability to build a legacy. So, the business can be held in a trust. The business can be sold to a larger business, all of which is going on in the background, and it really allows you to be in multiple places at one time. And let's not forget my favorite, which is going to be the mindset, which is the mindset that's required to create a business in the first place. If you're somebody like myself who enjoys just the idea of constantly getting better day in and day out, entrepreneurship is yet another benefit for you. And yeah, this is not necessarily financial wealth, but more of like a interpersonal, mental wealth, I guess you could say. But you're going to be learning how to market. You're going to learn how to do finances. You're going to be learning human resources and being creative. And this is really something entrepreneurship, obviously you can tell by now, I'm extremely passionate about it, but entrepreneurship is going to be something that allows you to really put your best foot forward and constantly get better, and then it's going to reward you handsomely for it. And I do know that entrepreneurship has an insanely high failure rate, but I really urge you to not pay attention to that, because there are a multitude of reasons as to why a business fails, but instead look at the businesses that are successful, your Amazons, your Apples for the large ones, but then even the mom and pop, the local restaurant. These are all people who've decided to take their financial futures into their own hands and have created businesses that will outlive themselves if structured correctly. So starting a business coupled with saving is how you're going to become wealthy. So all that to say, the primary purpose of this video is really just to say, hey, I believe building a business is going to absolutely trump saving alone. While saving in and of itself is a fantastic tool when it comes to laying the foundation and developing budgetary discipline, as well as having some stability when it comes to your personal finances, really getting beyond that and really getting after it is going to require you to build a business. Not to mention, again, as I spoke before, we have various tax benefits. You have scalability, you have income that's virtually limitless. All these things are available to you as a business owner, not to mention being able to leave a legacy. That business in and of itself to a loved one is another benefit. And so when it really comes down to it, saving, again, is fantastic, but building a business is really how you're going to acquire wealth in the shortest amount of time and for it to really last the longest. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, and as a gift for sticking with me throughout this video, I have created a comprehensive guide that discusses the different business entities that are available to you. The link is in the description. Please like, share, subscribe, so more people can find the content and really get engaged in this conversation when it comes to how to acquire wealth. Again, it's your virtual family office, and we focus on ways to master your money and build a legacy. Thank you all for sticking with me to the end of the video, and I look forward to the next one. Take care.